Imagine paying every year for a parking permit and yet still feeling you never have the right to estabulate. Because that is exactly what millions of residents assure they live daily in Jersey City. Carols saturated, drivers desperate, unexpected fines, and a question that more and more people begin to ask themselves: is the system really trying to help, or did it just learn to make money thanks to the chaos? Today, we are going to see 7 truths about the swindle of the parking permit that never solved the problem, explaining in just a few minutes, based on testimonies real, municipal rules, and experiences that residents consistently share. And trust me, the last thing you will discover makes everything seem even more absurd.
The permit that promises peace of mind. Most people believe that when they pay for a residential parking permit, they are buying a solution. But according to the residential parking regulations published by Jersey City, the permit does not guarantee a specific parking space. And that is where the frustration begins. Because many residents describe exactly the same experience. They pay for the permit, they arrive home tired from work, and they start circling the block for half an hour, or even longer. Some end up parking several blocks away from their homes. Others simply take the risk. And here lies the most unsettling detail. Even though you paid, the problem remains exactly the same. Can you imagine that? Paying every single year and still feeling like you're fighting for survival on the streets of your own neighborhood. That doesn't look like a solution. It looks like a costly illusion.
2. The streets that seem permanently gridlocked. In multiple neighborhoods across Jersey City, every night, the scene repeats itself every night. Vehicles lined up on every corner, drivers waiting for someone to pull out, cars circling slowly like predators hunting for an opportunity. According to accounts shared at community meetings and on local social networks, many residents claim to spend up to an hour just looking for parking. An hour. And the worst part is, the longer you search, the more likely you are to make a mistake. Nudging too far up onto the curb, parking too close to a corner, forgetting a specific time restriction. And that's when the ticket appears. That is the true vicious cycle of the problem. It's not just a lack of space. It's constant mental exhaustion. Because after working all day, no one wants to fight another battle before going to sleep. But wait. Because what comes next makes the whole situation look even more suspicious.
When fines start to feel like a business. Now, let's ask an uncomfortable question. If residents pay for permits every year, why does the problem never improve? According to public municipal budgets and financial reports from US cities, parking fines generate millions of dollars annually. And that leads many people to start getting suspicious. Because the harder it is to find parking, the easier it is to make mistakes. And the more mistakes that occur, the more tickets appear. Some residents describe the system as a perfect trap. You pay for the permit, you can't find a spot, you improvise, and you end up getting another fine. Time and time again. The most unsettling part is that some people already feel that tickets are inevitable, as if parking legally has become a mission impossible. If this resonates with you, give this video a like and subscribe, because the next case is one of the most frustrating of all. War The fear that begins before you even get home. It sounds exaggerated, but many residents describe feeling genuine anxiety as they drive toward their neighborhoods. Not because they fear accidents, not because they fear theft, but because they know what lies ahead. Crowded streets, endless circling, vying for tiny spaces. Some drivers even claim to check several different streets before reaching their homes, hoping to spot an opening. And when a spot finally appears, the pressure is immediate, because another vehicle could snatch it away in seconds. Can you imagine finishing an exhausting day and still feeling stressed out just by the act of parking? It transforms something routine into an emotionally draining experience. And here comes the worst part. The more desperate a person becomes, the more likely they are to end up with a parking ticket. The tickets that seem to appear out of thin air. Many residents tell similar stories. They quickly unloaded groceries. They popped into their apartment for just a few minutes, or they left their vehicle unattended for a very short time. And when they returned, the summons was already stuck to the windshields. According to accounts shared on Jersey City community forums, there are drivers who claim to feel constantly watched in certain areas, as if some neighborhoods were hunting grounds for tickets. And although not everyone agrees with that perception, the feeling persists. That is what matters. Because when people begin to feel that the system is working against them, trust vanishes. And without trust, every fine seems even more unfair. Sound unbelievable? Then just wait until you hear what comes next. The growth that made everything worse. Over the last few years, Jersey City has grown rapidly. New buildings, new apartments, thousands of new residents. But many citizens claim that the number of available spaces never grew at the same pace. And that is where the collapse begins. Because every new resident brings another vehicle, more competition, more pressure on already congested streets. According to community discussions and local accounts, some people believe that urban development outpaced real parking solutions. And when infrastructure cannot support the growth, chaos becomes inevitable. More traffic, more stress, more tickets. It is a domino effect that seems unstoppable. And for many residents, the annual permit has simply become a mandatory fee, with no real benefits. The sense that the system was never designed to solve the problem. Here, we arrive at the most controversial part of all. Because after years of paying for permits, receiving fines, and searching for parking every single night, many people began asking themselves the same question. What if the chaos is exactly what keeps the system running? That idea surfaces constantly in community conversations, on social media, and in local comments. People who feel that the problem persists because it generates money. And while the streets remain gridlocked, the tickets keep piling up. The most troubling aspect isn't just the money lost. It's the emotional toll. The daily frustration, the helplessness, the sense that no one is listening to those who live through this every day. Because ultimately, no one should have to pay year after year only to feel punished in their own city. And perhaps that is the most uncomfortable truth of all. That many people have already stopped trusting that the system actually wants to fix anything. After hearing all these cases, the question remains open. Does the residential parking permit actually help? Or does it simply make the problem look organised? Because when thousands of people experience the same frustration, suspicion begins to grow. And when a system constantly collects fees, yet the problem never goes away, people inevitably start to lose trust. Perhaps the real problem isn't just the parking itself. Perhaps it's the feeling of paying without ever receiving a real solution. If you've made it this far, tell me in the comments, how much time have you wasted looking for parking? Have you ever received a ticket that felt unfair? Subscribe for more real-life stories, urban issues, and topics that affect thousands of people every day. And remember, sometimes the most frustrating things aren't the ones that happen in secret, but rather the ones everyone sees and no one seems to want to solve.